Okay, guys, the video keeps messing up. Okay, I'm doing this video this morning about the um, death of the young lady Korryn Gaines. Now, um, I'm going to admit that I did not watch all of the videos. The one at her apartment, I did not watch. I have not watched that yet, and so um, I don't know if they shot her on the video or just what. And I don't need to know that. All I really need to know is that she was killed. I did watch the one with the traffic stop. I did see that one. Most of it until just about the end. Um, but here's what I want to say. First of all, I feel real bad for this young lady. First of all, she's younger than my son, even. So she is old enough to have been my daughter. Her children, young enough to be my grandchildren. So my heart goes out to her. She's very young, 23 years old. I mean, 23. That's a baby to me. But let me just say, I think this young lady, they're making her a martyr now. I think in some ways that's wrong. They are. See, here's the part where it gets complicated, because when you start talking about the police and how they came in there and the whole thing, that though is a leading up to me from whatever happened in the car. They said that they were coming into her house because of the actual traffic stop that the video showed. Okay, but if we listen to her, she was telling them that she was already suing them for something, and that she had been, I think, harassed and followed and these type things already. So there was some history there already. So we don't want to make the video or make it seem as if she was kind of an innocent victim who just kind of got shot and killed by the police. Now, when I say that, I'm not saying that they had a right to shoot her, or especially with her child in her arms. And I mean, I'm not saying any of this. I think they also said something about her having a weapon. You know, I don't know if they saw a weapon, because like I say, I didn't watch the whole video. Maybe I should. But it's really, I don't feel I really need to watch it, because I'm not really coming in here speaking to her death. I'm speaking to the situations that led up to it and the situations around it. I also want to speak on the sovereignty that she was trying to declare to the cops by telling them, I don't recognize your authority. I'm not going to take your paperwork. You're not going to arrest me. You're not going to touch me. You're not going to kidnap my children. And the whole thing, because she had declared herself sovereign. Now, I mean, it's just so much to this that I want to speak on until I don't know where to begin. And y'all know that I don't use notes or some kind of script. I just kind of speak from my heart. But let's start, okay, first with the sovereignty. Okay. She basically, and I'm talking about the traffic stop, she basically was telling the cops she does not recognize their authority because she had declared herself a sovereign unto her own self, which basically she is her own law. Okay. Now, the issue with that is, first of all, these people who are going out here teaching this, I really believe this young lady was pumped up, prepped up, and all worked up in a frenzy about the death of black men, the way that they're killing black people, the violence that she's seen in her little 23 years. I think she was very, very afraid. I think she really was terrified, trying to seem and act tough. But I also think at the same time, like I say, I think she was all worked up and pumped up off of some stuff that she had heard. She seems to be one who has listened, or who seems to be in this conscious community. So I'm almost certain that this is where she heard or had gotten this stuff about sovereignty, probably from one of these conscious, so-called, these Egyptian pharaoh teachers that are out here pumping this stuff to people with nothing to back it up. They're not taking any legal um, whatever to get real true legal advice based upon the laws of this land by someone who has gone to school to learn. They are just, I think a lot of these, I've told you before, I think a lot of these conscious teachers, these Egyptian Greek pharaohs and stuff, are being paid by a bunch of white people to go out and give black people these foolish teachings. Because, as I always say, there is no need for a conscious community. Consciousness is something that you arrive at by yourself through your own reading, your own meditation, and your own learning. You don't need anyone to teach you how to be conscious. That's really the foolishness behind it. And so when you have these teachers and these people who are out here pumping black people up to do these things, I really think it's because, or behind, or orchestrated behind those who do not have the black community's interest at heart. And I mean, what they're doing is they're doing the same thing that they do in the Christian church. They feed you this, but the one that you see is the blackface preacher who's telling you and giving you all this rhetoric about heaven and about salvation and all this stuff to further an agenda. And as I say, I think this is the same thing with this whole conscious movement. It's not anything for the betterment, for the unification, and for the organization of the black community, or black people as a whole. I just do not think so. So let me get back to this. So I truly feel like whoever she learned this from, whether it was some conscious boyfriend or whatever who taught her this stuff, told her this stuff, or some of these, conscious teachers or whatever, wherever she has gotten this stuff, I blame them for her death. I absolutely, because whoever taught this to her and put this stuff in her head was not there when she got killed by herself with her children. And so, yeah, I blame that teaching, I blame that doctrine on the death of this young lady. Now, let me also say, this thing with declaring sovereignty, let me just say this. First of all, like I say, this is something that is you're going to have to, first of all, know what you're doing. You're going to have to have some type of legal advice before you do this, because the main thing with trying to declare yourself sovereign unto yourself is it has to be recognized. I mean, you cannot go out half-cocked and say, well, I don't recognize the police authority. I don't recognize the authority of the court. I don't recognize the authority of the United States. But yet you're here, living in this land, eating their food, you have to abide by their laws. You're paying their rent. You are obeying their laws, whether you want to or not. And like I say, because the court system, the United States government, the laws of the land recognize the police force, this organized union of police forces in all of these states. They have given them authority. And because they recognize their authority. Therefore, when you go against their authority and say, well, I don't recognize that, I mean, you just can't do that. I understand that it sounds good. It sounds revolutionary. It sounds, oh yeah, that's true, because first of all, you're all mad. You're all in your emotions. And yeah, black people as a whole should be very angry with the way a lot of this stuff is going down, with the killings of black people and so forth. And I'm not talking about the ones that they put in the media, because to be very, very honest, I think a lot of this stuff that they're putting in the media and that they're saying this black person got shot, I think a lot of that stuff is up. I think it's a bunch of false flags, and I think it's a bunch of um, agenda. With that said, there are many black people, black men and women who are getting killed where that stuff is not in the news. It has been going on forever. So that's why I say there's some type of agenda behind this, to now all of a sudden, every time a so-called black person gets killed or it's in the news, come on, they've been killing us for years and getting away with it. And so now, why all of a sudden are you all making this a big deal? I've already talked about that. Let's just get back to Mrs. Gaines, the young lady who got murdered. Um, I did not see. I did not see. Now, you all can take this whatever way you want to. I am certainly not one to take up for the police. I am certain. I mean, in so many ways, I feel the same way she does. I think that, yeah, they are here to kill and brutalize black people. I feel the same way. The issue with that is how you act. The issue with that is that even though I feel the same way that she does, I'm not going to go out half-cocked and make myself a target. I'm not going to, no matter what I believe and feel in my head, I'm still going to use rational thought and knowledge, and I'm not going to make myself or my children a target. And in so many ways, without her knowing it, I believe that's what she did. Trying to stand up, trying to be a warrior, trying to fight the cause, trying to, be a warrior for the people. As much as I love my black people, I'm not going to go out and be a martyr for black people, especially in the state that they're in, especially with mindsets that they have, especially being as divided as we are as a people. I'm not going to make myself a martyr. And I'm sorry that this young woman saw fit to make herself a martyr for black people, because all I see on social media, even though I have not really done a lot of reading up on her and reading up on, the comments and everything. I've seen some of them, but what I see is, no, I don't see any black men really, for the most part, standing behind her. I don't see that. I see a lot of blame. I see a lot of, oh, she should have complied. She should have did this. She should have just whatever. And whether they're right about it or not, still, she made herself a martyr, and now she's getting backlash. And isn't that the way it always is? I mean, probably 2-3 weeks from now, she's going to be forgotten for the next craze in America. First it was some Michael Jordan shoes that came out somewhere there. I think it was a Mike Brown thing. They brought out the Jordan shoes. Next thing you know, you got black people mobbing at the mall. They left the picket signs to go and mob each other at the mall for some shoes. Next, it was this, whoever else got killed next, it was this water challenge thing that they did. Okay, right now it's Pokemon Go. So I don't know what it's going to be now for black people to make them forget this young lady. But as I say, trying to declare yourself sovereign from the United States law, government, the laws of this land is not going to work. That is some foolishness that I don't know who started or pushed, or where this conscious community has picked this stuff up and got this little girl all out here all half-cocked talking about she's sovereign and she don't recognize it got her killed. It got her killed. And so whoever she learned it from, I may never know, but it's their fault that this girl is dead. Because, like I say, they were nowhere around when she was being a martyr. You just can't do that. You cannot do that because, first of all, like I say, the United States government, the court system, has to recognize that. They have to recognize that. And that's the thing about going out half-cocked saying that I don't recognize your law. Okay, but it doesn't matter whether you recognize it or not because the law does. The United States government does. And so when you go and do that, all you did was make yourself, or those who may be intending on doing that, makes themselves a threat and a target. She was in a car alone with 2 children. She's telling her little boy, who's 5 years old, to fight them. What I see and say about that is that if she was not going to die, or was not, because it almost seems as if she was ready and she had prepared herself for this, because they were not going to basically take her alive. This is what I hear. She says that she's not getting out of the car. You're going to have to murder me. I am not getting out of this car. I mean, and then you already told them that you don't recognize the authority. So we're already as a threat as a people. So when you go and add that I'm not going to recognize your authority, I do not recognize your authority, and you're going to have to kill me in order to make me comply, you have to look at the fact of what the police are hearing in their eyes when you're already a threat to them just by being black. You have to hear how that sounds. It sounds combative, it sounds resistive, and it sounds as if you're telling them to kill you. I mean, because when you look at it, they don't need a reason anyway. But then for you to bring up and say all these things that sounds threatening to them, going against their authority, yeah, you're almost asking for it. And I'm sorry about that, because like I keep saying, this girl is trying to declare something and I mean, she wasn't even a law student. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like she went out half-cocked trying to declare something that was going to get her killed. And like I say, she telling her little 5-year-old son to, you fight them, you fight them, you fight them. If they put their hands on you, if they open their car door, you fight them. Okay, if she had gotten away with this, if in the next 10, 15 years she continued to raise and train her son to be militant and to attack and fight the police because they are a threat to you and they want to kill you, so you attack and you kill them, she's going to get him killed eventually. Seriously. I mean, a black man unarmed and not doing anything and totally complying with the police, we have seen on TV and on numerous videos where they get killed. So for you to train and teach your son, and you're telling your son, fight them, you're going to get him shot, because they're not going to fight with you. Who they fight with sometimes I see as white people, they will fight with their own. But they're not going to fight with us. They're going to shoot. So what do you are teaching and telling your son, you are preparing your son for his death with that type of teaching and that type of training. And like I keep saying, I understand where she's coming from. I understand what she's trying to do. But, it was bad advice. It was bad information. I understand the anger toward the police. I understand all that. And like I say, I have a black son. I have black children. So, yeah, I have those same fears that she has. Yeah, I have all that. But you still have to use wisdom in what you do. You still have to, bottom line, she could have taken that ticket, went to court, go to court and declare sovereignty. You know what I'm saying? Don't put yourself in a situation where you and your children are now targets. I don't know. I heard some people saying that she used her child as a shield. What I have to say about that is, I don't know. But she did put her children in a very, very bad situation. We just saw where they shot a man, a black man, in the car on Facebook Live with his girlfriend and child in the car. We saw that. So what is going to make you think that getting your children in the front seat with you, or having your child on your arm in the apartment, that they won't shoot? So I don't know if she subconsciously was trying to use her child as a shield. I don't know. Maybe she thought, I mean, because she's young, she's 23. Maybe she thought that if she had her child in her arms, they wouldn't shoot her. I don't know. But we see the end result of that. And like I say, you know, she said that she had protection for her children. She said that she's already talked to her family and warned her family about this day. I don't know if this is something that she went out and pumped herself up and got herself all ready to do. I don't know. Maybe it was because of the backlash and things that she was already going through with the police, that she just figured that this is going to be the outcome of it. Or like I said, was she preparing herself and I don't know. Bottom line is, they asked her numerous times to get out of the car. They told her numerous times, we are not trying to kill you. I think their approach, and like I say, I am not taking out for the police, but I think the approach that we heard on video, and maybe it was because they were being videoed, I don't know. But the approach that I seen from them, they were not combative to her. They were not aggressive toward her. We saw the cop that pulled over Sandra Bland. And once again, I didn't watch that whole video either. But we saw how combative and angry he was when he was trying to arrest her. I could see this young lady trying to take and make that type of a resistive stand with somebody maybe like him. It's still unwise, but I could see the aggression. The aggression that she put forth with these officers, who I didn't see or hear on the video being aggressive back toward her, was, in my opinion, uncalled for. I don't think she needed to be that resistive toward them in a simple situation of a traffic stop. I just don't see it. They told her numerous times they weren't trying to kill her. They told her numerous times that we're still giving you an opportunity to give us whatever information we're asking for. We write you the ticket and whatever. I mean, she's steady telling them, I'm not going to take your ticket. I don't recognize your authority or whatever. And it's just like, it was just a situation, I think, that didn't have to be. And I'm sorry that she didn't have someone with her to advise her, to talk to her, to inform her. She didn't have it. And I'm sorry about that. And like I say, she was talking about the fact that she would have, or that her children was going to be taken care of by her family. Okay. I'm going to do another video on foster care, on that whole system thing about them taking children, because I can guarantee you, especially in the situation that, I'm sorry, she created, it's going to be at least 2 years before her family is even going to be able to see those children, let alone talking about adopting them. Her baby now will never know her. Her 5-year-old, I'm almost certain, will probably forget her, especially if he gets adopted out to a white family. We know they want our children. And especially in a situation like that, they're going to deprogram that little boy. She was trying to make him a warrior and a fighter and a resistor and all that. They're going to deprogram that. They're going to deprogram him from that. And like I said, especially if he is, especially with what she has taught him and put into, he's going to have so many social workers and psychologists and counselors and everything until I just feel like it was a situation that didn't have to be. That's going to be a long process, talking about her family being able to get her children. It's not that easy. She does not understand that that process is not going to go like that. I mean, at the very longest, it is at least a year once you finally get these people in your life. And like I say, they just usually drag this stuff out. And a lot of times these children are in adoptive situations with these foster parents, and then you got to go and fight that. So, I mean, she really does not understand what she got herself into. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this video off. I don't really know how much time I have on YouTube to make my videos, but I don't even think it's 30 minutes that I know of. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and stop this video because I don't want it to stop on me. But um, may she rest in peace. You know, may she come back wiser and stronger, because I do believe in reincarnation. I pray, you know, her next time here does not end up like that. To the next video. Y'all have a great day.